Hi friends, Sarah here and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. So I am not sure exactly what this video is going to be, whether this is going to be, as I talked about in a Sunday video on the 7th of March, because I don't know when this is going to go up. I don't know whether or not this is going to be a last 5 video like I was talking about and wrapping up like the last 5 books I read, or whether this is actually going to end up being a full-on vlog that'll go up on Sunday. I don't know. I'm kind of gearing more towards a vlog, I think, because you guys are awesome. You guys are absolutely awesome, and I love all of you so much. On that video, when I talked about the fact that I had only read like 1 book in the week and I was stressing out about it, you guys were awesome. And you're like, we don't care if you only read like no books or 1 book or whatever. We're still going to be here to watch your content. And thank you guys so much. So that is so sweet. I love the vlogs. The vlogs are one of my very, very favorite things to do. I find them easy. I find them very, I don't know, they're just friendly and comforting and, you know, not a lot of pressure. I mean, here I am sitting here on a Tuesday morning with no makeup, hair back in a ponytail, wearing a Witch and Famous t-shirt because it's laundry day. You know, I don't feel the need to spruce the self up to come and sit and chat with you guys about books. So yeah, anyway, so like I said, I'm gearing more towards that this is going to be a vlog, and I guess the vlogs are probably just going to continue. I don't know. I haven't really decided exactly yet. I've been doing a lot of crafting lately, which is exactly why I haven't been reading as much, I think. But the reading bug has bit me again, and I want to read all the things. I think that maybe book shopping on Friday, last Friday for my birthday, kind of really kickstarted that again. You know, if you're, maybe that's my advice in this. If you are in a bit of a reading slump, go out and buy some books. That should kick you out of your reading slump a little bit. So yeah, so I'm here to talk about a couple books that I've finished. I'm going to talk about the one that I finished last week because I have not talked about that one yet, and it was a 5-star read for me, you guys, so I really want to share that one with you. And then the book I literally just finished this morning, and I do have some book mail, so that's, again, this is why I'm thinking this is probably going to be a vlog, because like a full-on weekly vlog. I didn't mention today is Tuesday. It is is it the 9th? It's the 9th of March, and it's about 10:30 in the morning. I start work in about a half an hour. Again, working from home as I have been, which is great. I love it. So yeah, I really don't have much else to share. It is a beautiful day outside today, you guys. Oh my gosh. We're going to be hitting a high of +10 Celsius, which is roughly about 50, I think, because it's double it and add 30 to get the Fahrenheit. So it's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside today. So my husband is actually out right now on his electric bike, tolling around, you know, getting out for a ride. I will try and get some video of that. He just loves it. It's like a 45-year-old man with a toy. They're all just big kids, are they not? And it's fine. It's fine. It gives him a bit of freedom because if you guys didn't know, he doesn't actually have a driver's license. We only have, of course, the one car if he doesn't have a license. He never did. Like, he started to get a license when he was younger. And then, as his mother said to me, it's safer for all of us if he doesn't drive. You know, some things people are good at, some things they're not. And he grew up in the city, so he never had a need for a driver's license because anywhere he wanted to go, you know, we had Toronto has great transit most of the time. But yeah, I, of course, lived in the suburbs, so I had my driver's license. So anyway, it's good for him. He doesn't have to get on the bus. He can go, you know, like yesterday, he went on the bike and he went up to the pet store because we needed a few things and stuff like that. So like I said, I will try and get some, if I happen to be outside when he comes back or is going out or something like that, I'll try and get some video because it's adorable. It really is. So anyway, on to the 2 books that I finished. So this one was last week. This is the 1 book that I finished last week. And this was for middle grade March. And I believe this was for the prompt of like an adventure, going on an adventure. I guess you'd consider this to be an adventure. And this was Alone by Megan E. Freeman. So I read it in a hardcover. This is told in verse. So, you know, it's quick. This was such a quick read. I read it. It actually took me about 3 days, but I had started it and was really tired and had to go to bed. And then the next day I was really, really busy, so I only got another little chunk read. But then I must have read about 3/4 of it in like a sitting. It read very quickly. And this was so good. So essentially this is the story of a girl named Maddie. Is it Maddie? Maddie. And she arranges kind of the sleepover with her two best friends on the sly and doesn't tell her parents. And they're going to be staying at her grandparents' apartment. The grandparents are like in Florida or something like that, right? So the apartment is vacant. And then last minute, her two friends are like, no, we can't come for whatever reason. So because Maddie's actually the child of divorce, she told her dad she was staying at her mom. She told her mom she was staying at her dad's, and then she ended up staying at the grandparents' house. So anyway, what happens is that something happens during the night and the entire town is evacuated and she is left alone. She has a dog, this Doberman. Is he a Doberman? And I think his name is George. What was his name again? Sorry. Yes, a Rottweiler, excuse me, by the name of George. And it's essentially, takes place over about 2 or 3 years of her trying to survive. So at first when I was reading this, I thought this is going to be difficult because it's told in verse and these little stanzas and things like that. You quickly forget that. You quickly forget that that's how you're reading it and you get immersed in this story. It was really, really good. I gave this 5 stars, you guys. I thought it was absolutely amazing. Amazing. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, this was heartbreaking in places and, you know, this will to survive. And when I finish it, I'm glad I'm reviewing it like a week later. And I know that sounds weird, but this left me with kind of, and maybe this was part of my reading slump as well last week, that I knew nothing was going to compare to this. And I was kind of hesitant to pick anything else up. You know what I mean? Like, I know people talk about a book hangover, but this literally left me with that feeling in the pit of my stomach, like, not that it was really good, but that, I mean, because it was really good, but just this unease about what happened. And, you know, the ending, I do have to admit, I did give this 5 stars, like I said, but the ending does kind of leave a bit to be desired because it's kind of rushed, and that's fine. Also, I usually don't do trigger warnings for people, just because there are so many different types of trigger warnings. Like something that somebody wouldn't even think is a trigger warning might be a trigger warning to somebody else, which is why I tend not to talk about in that terminology. I'll just say, you know, maybe the book involves this or this. But as someone who is very sensitive to this personally, there is animal abuse and animal death in this book. So do keep that in mind, especially because this is a middle grade. And, you know, if you've got a younger one at home and you're going to be reading this to them, just do keep that in mind. There is a brutal scene involving a kitten with animal abuse and death. And I'll just, spoiler alert, I mean, it's not really a spoiler alert. You know, the entire town is evacuated, but they leave all their animals behind. So you can just imagine what happens to these poor house pets like cats and dogs and things like that. So anyway, just to let you guys know that that is the case. But oh God, this was so, so good. And what I really, really enjoyed in it, in several times in the novel, they referenced the book, The Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell, which is one of my favorite books. It was one of my favorite books growing up about a girl, she wasn't 18 at the time. Can't remember how old she was at the time, but it was published in the 1960s. Most of you have probably heard about it. I'm pretty sure it was a Newbery winner, but she gets left alone on this island, like, I want to say the Polynesia type area, and she's left alone. I think it's for 18 years. She's left on this island until people come back for her. And it references that a number of times because Maddie's younger brother is writing an essay about that book. And, you know, what is her biggest struggle? Is it finding food and water? Is it keeping away from the wild dogs? Is it, you know, whatever? And it's, you know, is it the fact of her just being alone? And, you know, Maddie quickly realizes that as well. So, yeah, really, really good. I highly, highly recommend this one. Again, if you have younger ones at home and you're thinking about maybe reading this with them, again, just keep in mind about the animal issues. And yeah, but I mean, it's not big drawn out parts of the book. It is just little spots of the book, but just do keep that in mind. So yes, highly enjoyable on that one. And then the other one I just finished this morning for something completely different was a cozy mystery because of course it is March Mystery Madness. And the book that I finished was Death by Dumpling by Vivien Chien. I decided to use my tablet to show you guys the covers to make it easier for me in the editing process. It's all about making my life easier at the end of the day, you guys. And you guys still get to see the pretty covers. So it's all good. This is the first book in a Noodle Shop mystery series. I read this in a buddy read with Scott and Becky over at the Bookish Bryants, we had like a Voxer group going on. I was not very present in the Voxer group because I was reading this on my own. And like kind of at my own pace, I should say, excuse me. And I did listen to it on audio. It was narrated by Cheryl May, I believe is her name. And it was really good. I really liked the audio on this one quite a bit. Now, I did mention in my video last Sunday that I listened to it at 1x speed, you guys, and I loved it. I loved it. And I'm like, I kind of found I fell back in love with audiobooks listening to it at 1x speed. Who knew? But it just seemed that much more enjoyable. I don't know why, but it was good and I loved it. So essentially this is the story of a girl named Lana Lee, and she works at her mother's noodle shop in this place called Asia Village, which is a like Asian shopping center just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. And the manager of this complex, of this Asia Village complex, winds up dead after eating dumplings that were shrimp dumplings, and he has a seafood allergy. So essentially, I don't want to give too much away. The whole thing is about Lana trying to find out who killed him, and she is kind of implicated a bit in the murder as well, along with the chef, of course, at her restaurant, because the dumplings came from the restaurant. There is a great cast of characters in this book. I loved it so much. This like Asia Village community, this shopping community. You get to know the people who work in the stores, like the old Chinese man who works in the gallery, and then, you know, the girls in the salon, and then there's the mahjong matrons, they call them, these 4 women who come in every day to the noodle shop for breakfast, who are like widows, and they play mahjong, you know, like it's just delightful. It's absolutely delightful. This is the first book in the series, but this is the second one of these that I've read. I think I've read book 6, which is further along. Killer Kung Pao, I think, is the other one that I read. So I've jumped ahead a bit in the series because I had that one from NetGalley late last year. But I am so itching now to read the rest of them. I think there's 8 books. There's 7 currently, and I think 8 is on its way to being published very soon. So yeah, so we shall see. Oh, guys, I love this. 4.5 stars, by the way. 4.5 stars. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and I'm super glad I decided to jump in on the group read for this one for March Mystery Madness. So reading plans for the rest of today, because I'm thinking if I'm going to do this, I'm going to set a time that I'm going to sit down and chat with you guys every day, and it's probably going to be in the morning before work because it's the easiest. So reading plans for the rest of today, I am not absolutely planning on picking up another audiobook today, but last night when I was done work and we were finished dinner and Garrett and I were just kind of sitting around, I was sitting downstairs in the basement with him, and we had the TV off, and he was playing his World of Warcraft, and I was listening to a bit of the audiobook. So I might do that again tonight. So if I do, or tomorrow morning, I will be picking up Rookie Instincts by Carol Erickson. This is the first book in the Tactical Crime Division Traverse City series. So this is a 4-book series. I have all 4 on audio as an audio bind-up, which you cannot get anymore because I went on Audible to look something up and it wasn't there. And I'm like, that's odd. So anyway, you can only get them separately now. So I'm super glad I picked it up when I did. But I will be reading all 4 of them. So all 4 books total, I think it's just shy of 24 hours on audio. So my goal is to get these 4 done by the end of the month. And then that will be my audiobook listening for the month. If I can finish any other audiobooks, great. But again, listening to it at 1x speed, I'm loving that, so yay. I don't know anything about what this is about. Supposedly from what I saw on the back of the book very briefly was 2 women are dead and they share the same identity or something like that. So I don't know. I'll update you guys when I read more. It is a Harlequin intrigue novel, and I am very much looking forward to it. And speaking of Harlequin intrigue novels, the book that I'm hoping to finish today, my print book that I'm reading, is The Last Resort by Janice K. Johnson. This is a standalone novel, and it has been really, really good. I'm not going to talk too much about it right here because I am hoping I will finish it tomorrow or tonight and can talk to you guys about it tomorrow. So yeah, so that is my goal with that one. So yeah, so that's my reading plans. Let me very quickly show you the 2 books that came in the mail the other day. So still getting some birthday presents in, stuff that I ordered. So I did order this. It's her brand new release, and this is Time of My Life by Tilly Tennant. I am slowly collecting all of her books in physical format because they are delightfully adorable. So these are romantic chick lit comedies. It says she's given up on love, but one little letter might change everything. So it's really all I know about it. A laugh out loud and uplifting romance. Looks so cute. Just so, and the cover is that buttery soft. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, oh, these are published by Book Auteur, and they're out of the UK. They're a UK publisher. So yeah, and she's a UK author, and I just absolutely adore her stuff. So I got that one in the mail the other day, and then yesterday I got this one. It's one that I had ordered from Thrift Books. It's another Tara Taylor Quinn. It's just around the corner. Yeah, I can't really say too much because I talked about this in my Sunday video that I'm doing an author spotlight on Tara Taylor Quinn. She did send me a box of books, and I was so thrilled about that. And, excuse me, so that's kind of what prompted the whole author spotlight on her. So I filmed that unboxing from a few weeks back, and it's kind of just sitting on my computer right now. And when I read the books for the author spotlight, that will be included in that video. So you will eventually see that, just, you know. But two of the books that I got in there were UK editions, which I love. I mean, I love the Mills and Boon UK editions, but this part of me really wanted the North American editions. So those two books, I did order the North American editions. So one of them was just around the corner. So this is part of the Shelter Valley Stories series, and this was originally published in December of 2001. So now I have both the North American and UK editions for this book. So I'm very happy about that. Yeah, the UK editions, my goal is eventually, once I get my new bookshelves in here, is to put those kind of in a separate spot on my shelves. And so I'll have them in a separate spot. Because I do occasionally, especially if I order stuff off Thrift Books, you're not necessarily getting the cover that is shown. And sometimes I do get the Mills and Boon edition, which is fine. Again, I'll probably put it in a separate spot, but my whole goal is to collect all the North American Harlequin editions, not the Mills and Boon necessarily. So yeah, so I've got that as well. Anyway, guys, that is it for this morning's clip. Like I said, it's Tuesday, so I missed a couple days, but, you know, I'm already like 17 minutes in on this. But I will probably not check in today. Like I said, I think I'm going to set my goal as checking in once a day in the mornings, unless something fun is going on and I do a little video, you know, of whatever, maybe the cats, Garrett on his bike, whatever. But yeah, we shall see how this goes. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in my next, I'll talk to you guys in my next clip. Bye. Hi guys, happy Wednesday. It is the 10th of March, and I heard on the radio this morning we could potentially hit record highs for this time of year, for this date, for temperature. It's supposed to get up to 13 degrees today, which I know to my American friends is like, God, that's cold. But 26, like around 60-ish, I would say Fahrenheit. So that's exciting for early March. So yeah, so that's a good thing. Nothing else interesting is really going on. As I sat down with you guys yesterday, I thought I'd sit down with you guys again this morning and share my reading plans for the day. I did not finish another book yesterday. I had planned to, but I was trying to read a bit before bed and I was just so tired. I just ended up going to sleep. So I just filmed a video right now. It went up on, you guys are seeing this on Sunday, but it went up on Wednesday. It was my wrap up and stats for February. So yay on getting that finally recorded. Let's get it. I'll be getting it posted as soon as I'm done talking to you guys now. My hair is so staticky. But anyway, so reading plans for today. I did not start this yesterday either, but I plan on starting once I'm done doing this and I'm editing my video. Rookie Instincts by Carol Erickson, the first book in the Tactical Crime Division Traverse City series, the 4-book miniseries. I talked about this yesterday. I have all 4 on audio, so I'm very much looking forward to getting this one started. So then I plan also today, reading-wise, I would like to finish reading. I don't have the copy of it here. It's on my bedside table. Is The Last Resort by Janice K. Johnson. I have less than 100 pages left on this. So I really, really want to get it finished today. And that I'll have this one to talk about for you guys tomorrow. And then once I get that one done, because I'm sure I will get that one finished today, I plan on then starting, I don't know if I talked about this one yesterday, but Against the Wind by Kat Martin, which is the first book in the Rains of Wind Canyon series. So this one is, of course, one of my prompts for March Mystery Madness, for the prompt of weather, because rain is weather, or no, wind is weather. It's the Rains of Wind Canyon. So it kind of works both ways in a way. So yeah, so hopefully I'm going to get this one started today. I have a copy of it on my Kindle. So I am looking forward to reading that. So yeah, plans for today work pretty much. That's about it. I did contact my cardiologist yesterday because it's something I've been thinking about doing for months now, because I actually haven't talked to her or had an appointment with her because of COVID since the last time I saw her in person was October of 2019, when I got sick and ended up in the hospital when I was dealing with another bout of palpitations. And then I had my procedure in January of 2020 that has really helped that issue. And I talked to her in the spring of 2020, like on the phone. We just had a phone appointment because, of course, everything was in lockdown. And I haven't talked to her since then now. I feel good. I'm not having any problems, no palpitations, no pains, no nothing of any cause of concern. But I just thought yesterday that I would check in with her because there's talk now about the vaccine for Ontario, like they're rolling it out here in Canada. I think you guys in the States are getting it a lot faster than we are up here. But there was talk that people with pre-existing conditions would be kind of pushed closer to the front of the line, and I would probably be, I think I'm considered one of those people. So I just reached out to her just to let her know that, I feel good, nothing to worry about. I was just pretty much checking in. It just feels weird for me. My entire life, at least once a year, and more so now that I've gotten older, I'm down at the hospital, for tests, and, nothing major. It's just preventative maintenance, essentially, if you think about it that way, because it's better to look at things ahead of time and catch them while you still can catch them before it gets worse. So I just wanted to check in with her, and she emailed me back and she said she wants to just chat with me on the phone. And I did express some concern over the vaccine. Not that I have a problem getting it. I will be first in line to get it. But I am worried because of my condition, what kind of side effects might I experience? Because it's a respiratory disease, like COVID's respiratory, and I have respiratory issues because of my heart. So anyway, she's going to be calling me this afternoon around 3 o'clock. So I'm actually looking forward to the phone call, seeing what's going to be going on. I don't know whether or not they're going to try and get me into the hospital for some tests. Just, again, preventative tests, no big deal. An echocardiogram, which is an ultrasound of the heart. ECG, potentially a stress test, which I hate. I hate the stress tests. Or blood work or whatever. I mean, who knows? Who knows? So I will update you guys tomorrow and let you know what all happened there. But that's pretty much the only interesting thing that's happening today. So yeah, I will let you guys go, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Morning, friends. It is Thursday, March the 11th, and it is just after 8 in the morning, and I am just sitting down to share with you a reading update from yesterday. So, yeah, good day yesterday, work day as usual, of course, but as I mentioned yesterday as well, I had an appointment on the phone with my cardiologist. So it was just a quick little chat. How are you doing? Kind of an idea, letting me know that once I am able to get the vaccine, I am to do so, because it's very, very important. There are minimal side effects, she said. My concern was because of my condition, what kind of side effects might there be? But she said, no, for me, it was the benefits far outweighed any sort of potential side effects that there may be, and she doesn't feel that there would really be anything for me to worry about, which is great. And then we got talking, and I said to her, once things open back up, my other concern is that I haven't been in to see her or to have any testing done in over a year. And she said, well, and she checks her notes as we're on the phone. She says, well, I talked to you back in June. I thought it was in the spring, but it was in June of last year. And I said, yeah, but I haven't been in to have any testing done. And I usually get that done once or twice a year at least. I have an echocardiogram and an ECG and blood work, and every other year a stress test, which I hate. And she's like, oh, but I thought we booked something for October. And I said, I thought so too, but I can actually go on the hospital website and see my appointments. And I said, for some reason, I was never notified, but they were all canceled. And she apologized. She said, it looks like I might have fallen off the radar. So it's a good thing that I had reached out to her the other day just to check in to see what was going on. So anyway, she had me call the booking office yesterday, and I am booked in on April 26th. So I actually have to go to the hospital, and I'm having an echo done and an ECG done, and then I get to see her. So My anxiety on that is a lot better now that I know that I'm going to be getting checked, because I was actually getting very nervous about it, because even though I feel fine, and knock on wood, I haven't had any incidences or issues, you still don't know what's going on internally, and something could be starting, something could be happening that we don't know about. So that's why I like to keep, you know, for a lot of people who don't know, like I think I've mentioned before, I have congenital heart disease. And I've had 3 major surgeries when I was a kid, and I'm dealing with some other issues now as an adult with palpitations and arrhythmia and things like that. But the thing is with congenital heart disease is that it's not cured. You know, blue babies, we will have our surgeries as children, but they're actually considered to be palliative. So, you know, it's just something essentially to help us get bigger and grow, but it's not a cure. So it's lifelong. And, you know, since I was a kid, every single year, at least, like I said, once a year, I go to the doctors and I get checked out to make sure everything's okay. And usually, I mean, a couple times there's been issues with the palpitations and things, but generally speaking, I've been doing very well. So it makes me less anxious now that I know I'm going in to see them. And there are a lot of patients, a lot of adults who have this, who once they've had their surgeries, they kind of stop going to see their doctors because they feel okay. And then it's not until something crops up that they go and see them and like, hey, I'm having a problem. So, you know, little public service announcement, if you know someone or you are a person or you have a child like that, with this kind of condition, it is lifelong. And yeah, it's a pain to have to go down to the hospital to have testing done, but believe me, in the long run, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. So yeah, so there's my little PSA for the day. And I jokingly said to my husband, so it's on the 26th of April, I'm like, so I have 6 weeks to try and lose 10 pounds before I go see the doctor. Because she'll give me grief for the COVID-15 that I have put on, I'm sure. Or the quarantine 15, I think is what it's being called. So anyway, that's the kind of life stuff that happened yesterday. So reading-wise, I actually finished 2 books yesterday, but I'm only talking about one because the other one's for that special author spotlight video that I'm going to be doing. Clearly, I need more coffee this morning, you guys. Cheers. Yeah, so one's for the author spotlight video, so I'm not going to talk about that one here. But the other one, I did finish this one yesterday, and I loved it. The Last Resort by Janice K. Johnson. This is a standalone novel, but it is part of the Harlequin Intrigue imprint, and it is number 1970. It was originally published in December of 2020, so it's a newer release. I loved this. I thought that this was absolutely fantastic, you guys. I gave it 4.5 stars. I read this for March Mystery Madness. This was for the prompt of place, because a resort is a place. So yeah, really enjoyed this one a lot. This is the story of Leah and Spencer, and she has inherited her great uncle's cabin somewhere. I think it's in like near Portland. Is it the Cascade Mountains? Am I right? I think I heard them say something about that in the book. And it's kind of very remote, and she shows up because she's going to spend like a week there and kind of determine what kind of condition the lodge and the cabins and stuff like that are in, and comes across this group of guys who are there, and they are a militia, like a domestic terrorist group, essentially. And they're not good people. They're some former military and things like that, and they're intent on doing something bad, some sort of terrorism plot. So she kind of stumbles upon that, and she's taken hostage. And Spencer is an undercover FBI agent, and he kind of claims her as his quote-unquote woman, so that way the other guys don't bother her. There is some things going on with that. There's quite a bit of violence in this book. I do want to mention that as well. And yeah, so anyway, he kind of then starts to help her when she realizes who he is, and they kind of start working together. And the last quarter of this book was just pure adrenaline rush. Like, it was just thing after thing after thing, and it was very well done. Like, it wasn't like the author was just piling stuff on, because, you know, I don't want to give too much away, but they kind of escaped and they had to get away and were hiding in the forest for days, so stuff was happening. It was really good. The only reason this did not get a 5-star rating from me is the romance kind of fell flat for me, to be honest, between Leah and Spencer. it was a little unbelievable because they were, I mean, your emotions are going to be a lot heightened when you're in this kind of a situation, and they're kind of staying together and he's kind of keeping watch of her, kind of an idea. But very quickly they fall into bed together, and she was terrified of him. She thought he was one of them up until like that morning or the night before. So for her to suddenly switch gears that, oh, he's okay now, I just kind of, yeah. But outside of that, like, it was still really good. And the thing about the intrigue novels is you do not get a lot of adult content. Like, there is the scene with the two of them, but it's minimal. And, you know, for those of you who prefer your romance to be a bit more clean, if you will, these books are definitely going to fit the bill for that, pretty much. Like I said, a bit of adult content, but not a lot. But yeah, this was really, really good. It's available on Kindle. I think I got one of the last copies that was available on Amazon in a physical format. But of course, if you want a physical format yourself, you can obviously go on Thrift Books and find it, or A-Books, or, you know, the Amazon Marketplace might even have them. So yeah, so I really, really enjoyed this one, and I highly, highly recommend it. 4.5 stars. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So what am I currently reading? So yesterday I did start reading Rookie Instinct by Carol Erickson. This is the first book in the Tactical Crime Division at Traverse City series. I'm only maybe a chapter and a half into it. I did not get much audio listening done yesterday because I filmed that video that went up on Wednesday. But it is, like I just said, it's just after 8. I think it'll be 8:30 by the time I'm done filming this. And I plan on just kind of sitting and relaxing before work starts and listening to an audiobook. So I'm hoping to get a good chunk of this listened to this morning. But yeah, as my husband and I like to joke about when we watch Law & Order, like, you know, if he leaves the room and he comes back when the opening credits are starting, you know, the Law & Order music we're all familiar with, I'll turn to Garrett and say, let me catch you up to speed. Someone's been murdered. That's essentially what's happened so far, is that a woman has been murdered, and I guess that there are 2 women who have been murdered, but they had the same identification or something like that. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. The one thing I've noticed, though, is I've been introduced to a lot of characters. So I think a lot of those characters are from the first set of the Tactical Crime Division books, which I have not read. But I don't think they are really going to come into play. I think it was more of an introduction to move from one series to another. Do you know what I mean? Now we're only going to be focusing on 4 characters, like our 4 main characters, and then the rest of them are just kind of going to be background maybe. But the 4 books in this series, one's going to feature each of these 4 people you're seeing on the cover here. So yeah, so I will update you guys more on my thoughts on this one tomorrow. And then the other book that I did start yesterday, and I read a little bit more of this morning when I was having my breakfast, was Against the Wind by Kat Martin. This is the first book in the Rains of Wind Canyon series. This is also being dubbed as a romantic suspense. It's about our main character named Sarah, whose husband Andrew passed away a few months ago, and she's packing up her and her daughter Holly. They lived in LA, and her husband was very well-to-do, but she signed a prenuptial agreement. So when he died, she literally was left with nothing and had to sell off most of her possessions in order to finance the move that she was making with her daughter back to her hometown of Wind Canyon in Montana. So she's going from LA to Montana. And at the beginning of the book, she arrives, I think it's sometime in early May, and there's a freak snowstorm, and she gets stuck on the side of the road, and Jackson, who's our main character, Jackson Rain, he kind of helps her out with the flat tire, and she recognizes him right away, but he doesn't recognize her. He kind of thinks he knows who she is, but he's not absolutely certain. And then you come to find out that they went to high school together, and she actually spectacularly turned him down when he asked her to his prom. So there's going to be some sort of I don't know if I'd really call it a second chance romance, because they were never together originally. And that's one of the stipulations for me when it comes to second chances. This had to be a second chance. But I guess it could be argued that they had a chance back when they were in high school but didn't take it, but now it's a second chance. I don't know. It's a gray area. It doesn't matter. So however you decide to figure this out. But from the understanding is that there are some things that her deceased husband did that were not above board, and there are some rather bad men who are trying to find out some things and some information that Andrew had, and I guess she's kind of hiding from that, or she's been harassed by that. So I think that's where the romantic suspense element is going to come in. But I hope to get a good chunk of this read today, and of course I will update you guys tomorrow. So that's really all I have for today reading wise. I don't anticipate finishing anything today, but we shall see. And yeah, that's about all that I have, guys. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi guys, happy Friday. Today is March the 12th and it is about 9:30 in the morning. I am just editing as we speak of the video that I filmed yesterday morning, my March ebook haul, February ebook haul. So that is exciting. I think it just finished, or it's about to finish in just 2 more seconds. Waiting for the ding. Ah, there it is. Now I can go ahead and upload it to YouTube, so yay on that one. So nothing terribly interesting happened yesterday. It was just a typical Thursday. It wasn't terribly busy for me at work, but I did not get nearly as much reading done as I wanted to. But I am hoping now to get some reading done. I do not know what my schedule is like yet for today, but I would like to get a bit of reading done today. So first of all, my audiobook. I clearly haven't finished anything, so this is pretty much just a reiteration of yesterday. But I am still reading Rookie Instincts by Carol Erickson. I got about 2 hours into it yesterday, and I think it's just shy of a 6-hour long audiobook. So I think I'm about 30-something or 40-something% of the way through this. So far I'm enjoying it. I talked a bit about it yesterday, about 2 women who have been killed, and they look similar. And our main character, Aria, she works now for this tactical crime division. She has kind of hooked up, and when I say the term hooked up, I mean not in a romantic or adult context sense. I mean working with a guy by the name of Grayson, who is the one murder girl's half-brother. So that's where the story is going to kind of go, is the 2 of them working together to find the killer. So yeah, so far really good. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And I am only just a little bit, like 12% of the way through. Where's the cover here? There it is. Garrett's sighting. Presley sighting of Against the Wind by Kat Martin. There he is. Say hi to Garrett, BookTube.
Bye.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Bye. You going out?
Yeah.
Have fun. He's going out on his bike. So yeah, so I am reading this one. Like I said, I'm only about 12% of the way through it. I talked about it yesterday, so I would really like to finish this today, but it's about a 400-page book, so I don't know if that's going to happen, but we shall see. Maybe I will. Today or tomorrow. I definitely want to finish it by tomorrow. That's my goal. So yeah, so I am reading that. So guys, that is it for right now. I really do not have much to share with you. Kind of a quick little clip, but of course I will pop in tomorrow and share with you guys a reading update then. Talk to you later. Bye. Morning, BookTube. Happy Saturday. It is the 13th of March, and it is about 10 to 9 in the morning. In about an hour, Garrett and I are going to head out. We've got some running around to do. You know, typical Saturday, what do you call it? Like errands and stuff like that. So we're going to go off and do that, but I am going to sit for a little bit this morning and just do some relaxing, listen to my audiobook. So reading-wise, I do not have anything to update from yesterday. I am still reading the same 2 books. I do hope to finish the audiobook. I probably won't finish today. I'll probably finish that one off tomorrow, I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. But the ebook, Against the Wind by Kat Martin, I am hoping to finish that one today. I am 30% of the way through it, so I have a good chunk of it still to read. But yesterday was busier than I anticipated, which is fine. And plus last night, I finished work and I'm like, oh, it's Friday night. I'm going to stay up and I'm going to read for a bit. And guys, I was so tired. I couldn't keep my eyes open. Like I said to my husband, I came downstairs into the basement where the 2 of us watch TV. And I think it was after dinner. It was just after 8 at night. And I said, I'm going to try and stay awake until 11. So I thought I'll watch an episode of The X-Files because I am rewatching that through Amazon Prime. So I'm still only on the 1st season, but it's one of my favorite shows of all time. So I said to myself, I'm going to watch an episode of The X-Files, then I'll watch an episode of like Law & Order, and maybe a couple episodes of The Golden Girls, all on Amazon Prime, right? And I got through the X-Files episode, no problem. Halfway through the Law & Order, I couldn't keep my eyes open, but it was like 9:30 at night. I'm like, I cannot go to bed at 9:30 at night on a Friday. So I stayed awake till the end of the Law and Order, and then I just said forget it, and I went to bed, and I was going to lay in bed and read, but the second I got into bed, I'm like, I'm just going to sleep. So that's what I did. Today is the time change, which I hate. Daylight savings time, so we're losing an hour this weekend. Can we just do away with this whole thing, please? Because it takes me a good week to get into feeling normal again after one of these time changes. Like, I just constantly feel tired for like that whole first week. So we spring ahead at 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So anyway, that's a thing. But yeah, so that's all that. So I do, even though I didn't finish a book yesterday, there's still a review that I want to do for you guys, because I got thinking about this yesterday, because what my original plan was is that I wanted to do, or I still do want to do, an author spotlight on the author Tara Taylor Quinn, because she was super sweet and sent me a box of her books. So I do have that footage, that video footage. So I'm debating on just releasing it as is. But I might wait until I do the author spotlight. We shall see. So essentially my plan was going to be that I'd be reading an extra one of her books, at one a week or something like that, and like read them over the course of a week, and then eventually put all that footage together and do an author spotlight. That was my original plan. But I am reading as quickly as I used to, but I really do prefer just one audiobook and just one ebook or print book or whatever on the go at a time. It's what works well for me. So I decided to can that part of it, but I am still going to read these, and I'm going to review them as I go through these weekly vlogs or updates or whatever it is that I choose to do going forward where I talk about where I do my book reviews. And then at some point I will do an author spotlight and talk about the 5 books, but it might be a couple months from now. So, I read this book 2 months ago, but I still want to talk about it for you guys. So you're going to see the reviews kind of interspersed as I read these books, but at the end of the day, they will all be kind of amalgamated in together into an author spotlight where I just sit down and just talk about these 5 books that I read, like the books by her. So that's pretty much how I'm going to work it. That's my game plan anyway. So that all being said, let me review this book for you guys. So that last week, no, it was earlier this week, I finished reading Hidden by Tara Taylor Quinn. Sorry, that cover is really bright. This was a romantic suspense novel. It is not a category romance, which is what she typically writes. She writes a lot now currently for the special edition line as well as the romantic suspense line. So back when I started reading her, because I've been reading her for a long, long time, she was writing primarily for the super romance line, which is no longer around. But she has written for, a good different, she's written, she's dipped her toes in a lot of the different lines. Like I said, what she writes for currently, she also used to write for the Everlasting Love line, which did not last very long. It wasn't as everlasting. I think it only lasted like 30 some odd books, but I really liked it because it was the love stories after the love story. So like after the couple, at the end of the book when the couple, declares blah, 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 or they get married or whatever the case may be, those stories take place, typically years later, and talk about their relationships. Do you know what I mean? Or it's a different kind of spin on the whole, relationship and stuff like that. Like the one I do have to read that I'm really looking forward to is called The Night We Met by her. And I'm going to read that one soon. And essentially it is, I don't want to talk too much about her other books, but it's essentially how a couple met and how they grew old together. It's like essentially their entire romance from like when they met until the end, essentially. So anyway, but let's get back into this book. So like I said, this is a romantic suspense, and essentially I gave this one 3 stars at the end of the day. I didn't love it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. Is it one that I would absolutely recommend? If you are new to Tara Taylor Quinn, maybe not, because this isn't, in my opinion, one of her best. And she's written a lot of fantastic books, but this one just didn't do too much for me. So essentially it's about a woman who unfortunately is in a very abusive relationship with her husband, and her husband's very well-to-do. He's a senator in California. So she ends up one night taking off, and she's pregnant, and he's claiming the child isn't his, but she takes off and essentially disappears, and she's gone for 2 years. And then the story starts off 2 years after she's quote-unquote disappeared, And her best friend, who had started a relationship with the senator guy, is now missing as well. So essentially, the woman who went missing, or who ran away essentially the first time, her name's Trisha, and she's living not far away actually, but she's under an assumed name. She's changed her hair color. She has no bank account, no driver's license, nothing that you could actually identify her as. So the husband is being charged with the murder of the second woman along with his wife now, because she's been gone for 2 years. So then the story starts off that she's got to figure out what's going on. And, if she goes back, he didn't actually murder her, even though she thinks he's pretty much an a-hole. She doesn't think he deserves the death penalty because of murdering. He may have murdered the best friend, but he didn't murder her, and, yada, yada, yada. My issue with this is that there was a lot going on, and this jumped around quite a bit from character to character to character. There was a lot going on. It was a bit difficult at times to keep straight who was who, because it wouldn't jump necessarily between chapters. It would jump within the chapter. So you get like 2 or 3 paragraphs from like Trisha's perspective, then paragraphs from Thomas, he's the husband, his lawyer, and stuff like that. The other thing is that there is a romance in here between Trisha and a guy named Scott, who she meets at a bar after she runs away, and then he knows nothing about her background. And he kind of takes her and gives her a place to stay. And then they end up falling into this relationship. Well, I just didn't feel it. I didn't feel any sort of relationship other than a protector from him and something of a more sexual nature, essentially. So, again, at the end of the day, it wasn't a bad book. It's like almost a 400-page book, and I did fly through it in about a week. Like, I was reading a little bit every day, but if I had just read this, I probably could have finished it in a day or two, because it was very readable. But I just found there were some things that were lacking in it. So like I said, if this is your first Tara Taylor Quinn, not the one I would recommend you pick up first, but still enjoyable. If you have been reading her for a while, maybe go ahead and pick it up as one of her backlist. This came out in when? 2006? 2005. So this came out in 2005. So it's a bit older. But yeah, it was good enough. It was entertaining. Let's put it that way. So that's all I have for a book review, but I do have a bit of a book haul, you guys. So I got one book in a couple days ago, and I forgot to show it to you, and then I got some other books in yesterday. So first of all, the one that I got in earlier this week, I am so excited about this one. This is another one that I'm saving, I think, for Nonfiction November. And this is Tea, A Global History. And it is by Helen Sobiri. So this is part of the Edible series. So there's a bunch of these books, chocolate, coffee, all kinds of things, right? But this is a cute little hardcover. Someone else, and I cannot remember who the booktuber is. If you guys know who it is, because it's driving me crazy. But I saw this on somebody's channel, and they were either hauling it or they had it on their TBR for February or March, because I'm a bit behind on BookTube. But I cannot remember who it is. So if any of you guys know or have seen this book, or another booktuber hold this up, please remind me down below, because I can't remember. It was probably at least a month or so ago, maybe more, because was it Olive over to Book Olive? It probably was. If it's nonfiction, it was probably Olive. But this looked so good. So it's all about the history of tea. From... Oh, somebody's got... the pages are all... But I just thought this was just the cutest little hardcover book. It's not terribly long. Right? And it's got pictures, like what is tea it starts off with. And it talks about... it's got a lot of historical stuff, like how it moved around the world, essentially. There's pictures all through this book. And I just thought that this was so cute. And as a big tea lover, I thought this would be a lot of fun to actually read. So, yay, I'm really happy that this came. I got this from Abe Books. So, it is a used copy. It's a little damaged, but that's all right. But yeah, I'm super happy I got it. You can get these all for the Kindle, as an ebook, but they're expensive, you guys. They're like $12 to $15, I think, for a Kindle edition. And if I'm going to spend $12 to $15, I'd rather get a physical copy of the book any day. So anyway, so there's that one. Then last Friday, on my birthday, I got an email from the Harlequin website that, hey, happy birthday, here's a coupon code for you to use. And I'm like, oh, coupon, I got to buy some books. So I did. So I got 5 books with my coupon. So I'm very excited about all of these. So these are all newer releases, I think. Yeah, this one's from April of 2021. So on the Harlequin website, they are typically released, I believe, like a month ahead. So like the April books are released in March, kind of an idea. But rumor has it they're changing that around. That the publication date is going to be the actual publication date. So they're going to be released at the same time across the board, whether you're buying your book at Walmart or on the Harlequin website or on Amazon or whatever. But regardless, this is an April release, and it's Blue Collar Billionaire by Karen Booth. This is part of the Texas Cattlemen's Club. It is from the Heir Apparent series. So this one looks good. He looks like, I love a blue collar worker. I mean, you know, there's something to be said about, you know, big businessmen and, you know, these multi-million-dollar conglomerates that they own or they run or what have you. But just something about a blue-collar, you know, guy who does construction or plumbing or whatever, just, yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So this one, it says, Uptown girls who think they have the upper hand, they don't know Jack. I'll read the back. Jack Bowden has met enough rich women to know that Lone Star socialite Lexi Alderidge doesn't take him seriously, even though their connection is instant. Still, the rugged contractor built his fortune from the ground up. Surely he can build real rapport with Lexi the same way. But when getting along becomes getting into bed with his brand of rough and tumble success, will his brand of rough and tumble success ever truly fit into her high-class world? So I love it. Opposites attract, clearly. Sounds really good. The next one, I got another one of these bind-ups that I love so much. This is from the Must Love Dogs series. So, yeah, the Must Love Dogs. So both of these books are dog-related, have dogs in the story. And the title of this one is Home for a Hero. And these are two stories a story by Heatherly Bell and Soraya Lane. There's her name right there, you guys. So we have Reluctant Hometown Hero by Heatherly Bell and The Returning Hero by Sonora Lane. So when were these originally published? Because I believe these may have both been originally Harlequin special editions. Maybe. Should we look? Do I have my tablet handy? Hold on. Let's have a look together, you guys, because I am always curious to see where the original books came from. So we'll let my tablet warm up and I'll show you the rest of the books in the meantime. So the next one I got was a special edition novel. You guys know these are like my favorites. The Trouble with Picket Fences by Terry Wilson. This one sounds so adorable. This is part of the Lovestruck Vermont series. She could teach him to turn lemons into lemonade, it says on the back. Doesn't that just look... Clearly she's pregnant as well. So I'm not too sure... all her life, Melanie Carlisle knew how to succeed in the face of failure. When she finds herself pregnant and her ex-boyfriend bows out, claiming he is not the picket fence type, Melanie is on her own. Now she has a house with a picket fence she wants gone. Cat McBride is dealing with his own problems, what with a potentially career-ending hearing loss and his surly teenager. So the last thing he wants to do is get involved with a single pregnant woman. As for fences, the only thing he knows how to do is put them up. Doesn't that sound cute? Oh, I kind of love it. Okay, so the tablet is up here. Let's see. So let's do a look on these two books. I think like I said that they're both like special edition novels, but let's find out if I am correct. Sorry, that's kind of bright. Let's turn that down. Turn it down. All right. Reluctant Hometown Hero. Hold on. Speak amongst yourselves. Hometown Hero. There it is. This one was, so the first book, I was right. It was a special edition novel. So, oh, it's a more recent one too. So, there is the cover of the first one, the original cover of the first one in here. And that one was published in 2019, I think it said. Yeah, so that came out just a couple years ago in 2019. And the other one, I Betcha Any Money, it's also a special edition novel. Back. Come on. The Returning Hero. And that one I look came out in 2014. Or this next one here came out in 2014. Search. Okay, so there is... Oh! It was a Harlequin romance. So there is the other one that is part of this. So yay on that one. Oh, good. So a special edition and a Harlequin romance. That is awesome. So yeah, I actually, spoiler alert for my reading next week, I will be reading one of these bind-ups, not the Must Love Dogs, but the best-selling author collection one that I have by Heather Graham. So I still haven't decided exactly how I'm going to mark these on Goodreads, whether I'm going to mark each individual story when I read them, or whether I'm going to mark it as the book. I might just go ahead and mark it as the book, and then maybe separately mark those books as the fact that I have read them, but maybe put them on a new shelf or something. I haven't decided yet. We shall see how that goes. But yeah, so I got that one too. Sorry, this is a lot longer than I anticipated. 2 more books to show you guys. So the next one is A Harlequin Intrigue, which I also love, by Julianne Lindsay, who I absolutely adore. And this is Protecting His Witness. So yeah, again, this is an April release. Can a lawman keep a key witness and their unborn child out of harm's way? So that is that one. Is this part of a series? This is part of the Heartland Heroes series. So yay. I love a good Julianne Lindsay, and that cover looks fantastic. And last but not least, I did get another one of these best-selling author collections, just like the duology that I just talked about. So we have a Diana Palmer. So we have Texas Born by Diana Palmer, and then Smokin' Six Shooter by BJ Daniels. So yeah, I love these best-selling author collections. I think these are fantastic. Anytime I see a new one come up, I immediately want to grab it to add to my collection. Even if I, for some reason, have the actual books themselves somewhere. So let's see when these ones were originally published. I know for sure the B.J. Daniels was probably a intrigue novel. So the Diana Palmer book was first published in 2014. And the B.J. Daniels book was originally published in 2009. Shall we look at the original covers for those ones, you guys? Why not, while we're sitting here? Sorry, super long clip, but this is me. This is what I do. You know, you should be used to the fact that I like to sit and chat with you guys. Google Texas Born. Texas Born. Diana Palmer. There it is. So that one was a special edition novel. Originally, I think I have a copy of it. Now that I'm looking at the cover, I think I probably have a copy. I think I do have a copy of this in my collection. So I have the original probably, but now I've got it in the bind up. And the other one is Smokin' Six Shooter. Smoking Six Shooter. I'm getting things that I wasn't anticipating getting here. I'm not going to show you guys because this is a family channel. Let's put in the author's name, shall we? And it wasn't anything like adult content wise. It was just clearly meant for recreational use of substances. Let's just say that. And it was an intrigue novel, as I thought. Smokin' Six Shooter by B.J. Daniels. So that's the other one in this book. So that's exciting. So yay. So that is my little book haul. So again, a little bit of a longer clip, you guys, today. Sorry. Some of these clips are shorter. Some of them I've noticed are longer. They are what they are. But anyway, thank you so much for sitting down with me this morning. Actually, this is not the end of this vlog. I am going to update tomorrow because the way I'm thinking about doing this is like usually I would start on a Sunday, but I'm going to end them on a Sunday morning because I sit down here and talk to you guys about the books I read the day before, like what I read prior. So I'll sit down tomorrow to talk about what I read today, and then that'll be the end of the vlog. And then if I decide to do another one, I will start that on Monday. So that's my game plan. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hi BookTube, good morning. It is Sunday. It is the 14th of March and it's daylight savings time. It's approximately, or it's currently about 20 to 9 in the morning. So my body's telling me it's about 20 to 8 this morning. I've been up since 7 o'clock, I guess, so like 6, and I hate daylight savings time. I think I mentioned this yesterday. It is, I hate this because my sleep is going to be thrown off for at least a good week So yeah, I'm not a happy camper this morning. I'm not a happy camper losing an hour of my weekend either. We only get so much time on the weekends, you know what I mean? So anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It is a cooler day out today. Actually, I was just doing the dishes downstairs for my breakfast, and it's snowing a little bit. So my husband's not going to be happy because I think he wanted to go out on his bike today, but we shall see. I don't think they're not calling for any kind of accumulation, so I think it's just a few flakes are falling. But yeah, so that is that. So yesterday it was just a pretty busy Saturday as usual. A lot of running around. We went to Walmart. We went to go see my aunt. I did stop at a thrift store and I bought some books. So I was going to show them to you guys now, but I decided to actually do a separate video. So there'll be a video coming out on the channel on Tuesday of the books that I bought at the thrift store yesterday. And I got some good finds, you guys. It was really fun, so do stay tuned for that. So this is the last clip of the vlog, but I do have a book to share with you that I did finish yesterday. So that book is Against the Wind by Kat Martin. This is the first book in the Rains of Wind Canyon series. Sorry for the glare. And I gave it 3.5 stars. It was okay. I didn't love it. I talked a little bit about it during this week as we've gone on through the week. And it was essentially about our main character, Jackson, and our female lead's name is Sarah. And they knew each other in high school. He was a few years ahead of her. And he had kind of a crush on her. And he asked her out to his senior prom. And she, like, spectacularly turned him down. So he's kind of always been carrying that around with him, you know, like that rejection. And then right after high school, she left town. And she ended up heading out to LA. This takes place, I think, in Wyoming. And heading out to LA and meeting and marrying this guy named Andrew. So he is quite the jerk. He was abusive to her. He was non-existent. He cheated on her. And then he died. So when the book starts, he has been gone a couple months. And she and her daughter are packing up and leaving Los Angeles and heading back to Wind Canyon. So it turns out that her husband's past is following her. He was not a nice guy when it came to like certain business dealings. He was a gambler as well. He owed a lot of people money. And there are people who think that Sarah knows more than she knows and that she has information on blackmail that he was doing against people. So he's kind of followed her and he's come after her. So Jackson is, of course, stepped back into the picture. You know, they meet back up again in town and he's looking after her. Or like he's going to try and help her is what I should say. So like I said, I didn't love this one. I gave it 3.5 stars. I mean, it was good. It just wasn't great. It was entertaining. It was readable. But my big thing in this one was the romance itself. Like they went from 0 to 60 so quickly and I had a hard time with it. Like, she turned him down, and he has been supposedly nursing this for the past X number of years, but yet completely falls for her again. And yeah, I had a very hard, I felt it was more insta lust. Like, I mean, it was very much an insta something because they end up together relatively quickly in the book. I'd say at the 20 to 30% mark, they were already, you know, together. And, the mystery itself was not as much of a mystery as you kind of knew who the bad guys were. They kind of, you know that right from the beginning. I mean, it's kind of a whole why and where this information is, like that part of it. But as for the who is harassing her or who is trying to scare her, you kind of know that all the way through. But anyway, I did find myself as I was reading this drawing some comparisons to the Montana Creed series by Linda Leo Miller. Logan, Dylan, and Tyler, I think, are those 3 books. And I really like those. And I kind of found in a way that this kind of drew similar. It's 3 brothers who are kind of estranged from each other. And, you know, they live in this small ranch community. Like, a lot of parallels. Whereas Linda Leo Miller's, I think, is just definitely more of just a straight contemporary. Whereas this does have that slightly more suspenseful element to it. But I do like Kat Martin's writing. And I've read her before, and I like her work. And I will be moving on with the series. It's just like I said, the big thing for me was the actual romance part of it. Fell a little bit flat. So yeah, so that's what I read yesterday. I did get a little bit read on my audiobook. Rookie Instincts by Carol Erickson. I'm not going to talk much more about that because I didn't get a lot listened to. I will talk more about that in my next vlog, which I will start tomorrow. And I have started a new book this morning while I was eating my breakfast. But again, I'll talk about that in the next vlog. So that's all I have, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I think I'm going to do another one. I kind of really liked having this routine of sitting down with you guys every morning and sharing with you what I read the day before. I think it really worked well for me. So let me know your thoughts below. Have you read any of the books that I talked about? Anything at all like that? And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.